Folks, I don't know if it's me. If it is, I'm sorry. But I do not understand why police officers, anybody that is in law enforcement, does not have to undergo extreme, and I do mean extreme in Donald Trump's words, extreme psychological testing. Okay? Now, I say that because there are hundreds, and I am not joking, hundreds of stories of police officers who are raping women, molesting underage girls and boys, and doing all kinds of heinous shit. Now, here's the latest story about a Texas cop who was arrested in uniform because he wanted to marry his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter that he had molested more than 20 times. Okay, this particular cop also worked as a juvenile detention officer, and he was arrested this past Tuesday for repeatedly sexually assaulting his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter. This cop was located in Elmendorf, Texas, and his name was Jesus Gonzalez. He's 42 years old, and he was charged with continuously sexually abusing a child, a first-degree felony. The mother of the girl contacted police after finding indecent pictures of her daughter's on her daughter's cell phone. Parents, you need to go through those damn cell phones and make sure that the stuff that's on it isn't something that is going to scare the fuck out of you if you discover it later on in your kid's life. Okay, and I know the kids, my cell phone and my privacy and all this, fuck that. If they're a minor living in your house, you go through their shit to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Anyway, the mother, discovering the young girl had been texting lewd pictures to her boyfriend at his request. That's this cop. After the mother reported the rape, her daughter confessed to San Antonio investigators the assaults had been taking place more than 20 times between September until a week before Christmas. Besides being a reserve officer for the Elmendorf Police Department, Gonzalez was also an entry-level juvenile detention officer in the Bexar County Juvenile Detention Center in San Antonio, Texas, which is just north of Elmendorf. This guy resigned from his job on December the 20th after facing disciplinary attendance issues unrelated to the sex allegations. So he was taking time off and probably rolling around. He's probably done a few other girls down there. According to the arrest affidavit, Officer Gonzalez told the girl he wanted to marry her and that he was in love with her. Most of the assaults happened at a residence at the San Antonio Medical Center, although one reportedly happened during a vacation. It's not clear how or why he had access to that residence. The two communicated through a Kick app and Instagram. Gonzalez was suited up in his uniform and armed when police confronted and arrested him for molesting the girl. San Antonio police would not reveal where Gonzalez worked Thursday morning, but Elmendorf Police Chief Marco Pena confirmed Gonzalez had been a reserve officer with the Elmendorf Police Department since October during a Friday press conference. During the press conference, Chief Pena said juvenile probation is now interviewing Gonzalez's superiors to determine if there may have been other instances of abuse. You damn sure know that there were. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't know what individuals, what's in their minds and in their hearts, the chief said, adding he was saddened and appalled. Well, hell, if you had run this motherfucker through severe psychological testing, you would have at least seen some signs of what was going on. Gonzalez worked for several departments over the past 18 years, including the Natalia and Alamo College police departments. He was fired from the latter in 2014 for failure to report to duty. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement records show Gonzalez compiled training courses required by his department pertaining to rape and sexual abuse. Gonzalez is currently being held on $75,000 bond at the Bexar County Jail in San Antonio. You see, it's shit like this, okay? And you can't tell me, number one, that the mother didn't see something that was going on and didn't react immediately. Thank God she reacted when she did, and they busted this asshole, okay? But more importantly, again, I'm going to say this again. Every law enforcement officer in the country needs to go through severe, and I do mean severe, psychological testing, because I'm not saying it's 100%, but it damn sure is going to pick up a lot of these guys and not give them an opportunity to become police officers and then to abuse their authorities. And with this guy working in a juvenile detention center, God knows how many women that this guy, young girls that this guy has molested. Now, there's another story that's out there. Check this one out. This is the picture from left to right of the victim. I'm not going to bring up her name. You can look it up if you want to. I'm sorry. That's the judge. The cop, his name is Michael Tomasi. He's 42 years old. This guy was convicted of raping a 7-year-old girl last year. He was convicted, and he was serving life in prison after he was convicted, okay? Guess what happened here? He had his conviction overturned Wednesday because he was sending texts to his latest girlfriend, not the mother of the victim, okay, during the trial. For some stupid reason, the DA decides that found out about the texts and decided that he was going to introduce the text as evidence, okay, against this guy. The texts were introduced as evidence to argue that this asshole would be inclined to rape prepubescent girls because he preferred no pubic hair. His lawyer, and you can't blame the lawyer, he's just doing his job, took the conviction to appeal, and an appeals court reversed the conviction on the basis that there's no evidence that proved men who prefer adult women to shave their genital areas tend to be pedophiles. I mean, you talk about clutching at straws, okay, in order to get these fucking cops off. This is ridiculous. The Fourth Circuit stated in its opinion that the judge should not have allowed the text to be entered as evidence because they constitute irrelevant, prejudicial appeals to the sensibility and inflammatory arguments going before the facts of the case. You know what? Anyway, the victim in the trial was 19 years old when she testified against him last year, telling the jury that he raped her in 2003 at the age of 7 when he was her mother's live-in boyfriend, and who is currently not the woman he was texting during the trial. She did not report it until 2013 because her substance-abusing mother was financially dependent on the cop. Also, the 12-year-old son of the cop and the girl's mother testified on his behalf, claiming that his mother had testified to walking in on the cop raping her daughter to obtain custody of him after his father was sent to prison. But it was the introduction of the text that led to the reversal. During August 2015, at the trial, Tomasi sent selfies to his girlfriend while having a raunchy text conversation, apparently not at all concerned that his life was on the line. "No hair is best, but as long as you're clean, I'm good," he said in one exchange. The prosecutor seized on that text with the help of the judge to convince the jury of his guilt. They didn't need the goddamn text. This guy was guilty as hell. And just so that you know, okay, that there are some people that absolutely refuse to convict a cop of anything. When they convicted this guy and sent him away for life, the decision was not unanimous. There were 10 people that voted for the conviction and 2 that believed that he was not guilty. Fortunately, this trial took place in Louisiana because in states like, well, let's say South Carolina, Georgia, if it is not an unanimous decision to convict, it leads to a mistrial. Prosecutors, I guess to their credit, vowed to seek a review of the appellate decision from the Louisiana State Supreme Court. It's not clear if he will be released before the new trial is set. Jesus Christ, give me a break. Again, all police officers need to undergo severe psychological testing to weed out guys like the first guy that I did the piece on and this particular guy, so that they can come nowhere near a badge and a gun. That's not to say that even if they don't have the badge and the gun, that they're not going to perform these heinous acts, but for them to be able to operate under the color of authority, in my mind, is a non-starter.